So for this video, I've been going through a lot of stuff in my loft, trying to clear out a lot of the clutter. I've been in this house for 2 years now, and there's so much stuff in my loft, old gaming stuff, that I haven't missed and I don't need, and I'm kind of just sort of clearing things out, including this. So this is an interesting piece. So I picked this up probably about less than a decade ago. I think I got it for a pretty good price. I think it might have been between 50 to 80 pounds. This is a very unique Game Boy. Well, it's a bit more than a Game Boy. As you can see here, it is a Game Boy Light. And the story behind this is, so in the late 90s, the tail end of the Game Boy, after sort of Pokemon gave the system a shot in the arm, in Japan only, Nintendo decided to release this. Something that people had wanted for a very, very long time. For years, the Game Boy was known for having a very poor screen to deal with. You had to have the exact same, sort of the best light you possibly could shining on it. It was not a fan of the dark, so a lot of third parties created these sort of add-ons, these kind of game lights that sort of strapped onto the Game Boy and allowed you to sort of play in the dark by shining a light onto it. For years, people wanted Nintendo to do their own backlit Game Boy, but they sort of relented, possibly seeing what happened to systems that were backlit, such as the Lynx and the Sega's Game Gear. The problem being is that once you strap on a 1990s spec backlight to it, the batteries run out and die. But near the end of the 90s, they finally relented and used sort of similar lights to what was on the backlights or watches at the time. Like sort of, I think they used to call it Indiglo. And they sort of put it into a Game Boy. Now, this particular release, the Game Boy Light, was only released in Japan in 1998. So it was pretty hard to get out. You couldn't get it officially in the West at all. And what makes this particular unit unique is that this is a very special edition Tezuka Osamu World Shop release. So this was only available from a particular shop in Japan, the Tezuka Osamu World Shop. And I imagine it was probably kind of released in very limited quantities too. So if you combine a rare thing such as the Game Boy Light with something rare as this limited edition unit, you've got something pretty not hard to get hold of. I mean, you can obtain these, but trying to obtain these for a good price these days is very tough. And I've got to that state now in my life where this has been in my loft for so long now. I wanted to sort of just get it given to a good home and obviously make a bit of money on the process. So this is currently on eBay at the time of recording. So I thought before this goes away to hopefully a good home, I thought I'd give it one more little run through to show you guys. I did a video on this particular unit way back in the day, near the very early stages of this channel, but I thought I would just let you guys have one last proper look at it before I never see this particular unit again. So let's see you on the back here. You see this is the Astro Boy unit, which was one of the creator of Astro Boy, the Tezuka Osamu. He created Astro Boy, and that's why this is sort of plastered. There is another unit like this, which is a sort of red, slightly clear unit with other characters of his on, and this one is the clear Astro Boy unit. So let's open it up and see what's inside. So I've tried to keep the as best sort of condition as possible for this one, because I don't like to sort of ruin things too much. I mean, this was new. This wasn't new when I got it, obviously, so it's not in the best condition as it is. But I've done my best to sort of keep it in as best condition as I can. But this is a pretty pristine booklet here, the instruction manual, and I love Japanese instruction manuals. They're very. I love the images, even though I don't understand the writing. Hang on, let's just have a look at it. So it says, definitely don't play your Game Boy while driving. Thank you very much. I don't know what these things mean. Let's have a look at some of these other things. Don't open it. I guess don't get sand on. Don't jam a screwdriver in the carport. Definitely don't put water over it. Stepping on the screen, probably a bad idea, and definitely poking it with your thumb, not great. What else we get? Don't put it in your back pocket. I mean, did many people put these units in their back pocket? Don't play under the sheets. I mean, why? That's a weird one. Definitely don't let your baby psychically will the Game Boy down to them, and don't put it in fire. I mean, who would want to put this lovely thing in a fire? Don't put it anywhere near Frosty the Snowman or in some sort of heater. That would be bad. Anyway, I'm digressing. I've just fallen down the rabbit hole of looking at these wonderful illustrations here. Watch out for exploding batteries. Anyway, you get the idea. These Japanese booklets definitely have a bit more visual style to them than their Western counterparts. It's just a shame I can't read what they mean. So I'm just going to put that to one side for now. And then it sort of comes with, so this came at the same time as the Game Boy camera, as well as the Game Boy Pocket printer. So of course they're advertising this, advertising of course that you can put lots of little Pikachu Pokemon characters all around the place. It comes in many different colours. We know that. I've covered the Game Boy camera in another video, and I'm actually going to be working on the Game Boy Pocket printer video finally at some point as well. But that's, again, I love the art style of these things, even if I don't exactly understand what they mean. But you all came here to see this beautiful little item here, the Astro Boy Game Boy Light. It's a sort of very clear sort of colour here. It's quite nice. Yeah, it's not completely sort of, well, I don't know if it's sort of aged or is it sort of yellowing on it, but it's not completely sort of clear, transparent. You can see how I've tried to keep this in best condition as possible. Like, you know, this label's on here absolutely fine. The battery unit is of course pristine and intact. A lot of these have broken battery lids, so I've tried to sort of do my best. In fact, I'm not even going to put that. I'm just going to put batteries in as is. And you see you've got Astro Boy there. So you've got your contrast like you have on the standard Game Boy. You've got your volume, you know, your multiplayer, sorry, your link cable here, and then you've got your power adapter and your headphone jack here. And then you've also got the power switch, which is a bit different. So you have this switches twice. So you switch one to turn the system on, and then again to turn the light on, which I will show you about in a minute. So if I was to just chuck a game in here, so I'm just going to give you a quick little look at, hopefully you can see this quite well. So it's yeah, it's a you have to excuse me, this is an EverDrive. I will not shy away from using things like EverDrives. So, let's find a game to play quickly. Let's find Tetris. I like a bit of Tetris here. Hopefully you can see it here. If it excuse the reflection, I'll try and see if I can get the way. There you go. So as you can see, it works very much like a standard Game Boy. You know, you've got your contrast to get to the right level. You know, at this point you're relying on the best sort of light possible. The screen is very reminiscent of the Game Boy Pocket. So I'd probably say it's exactly the same as the Game Boy Pocket, at least to my eyes. A lot of these screens are starting to sort of fail at this point because they're getting old, so I'm quite lucky that the screens of this still seems to be in pretty good working order, which is sort of part of the reason why I want to kind of sell this so that someone can take advantage of this before it starts failing as things do as they get older, and I don't have the confidence to try and fix something like this myself. So yeah, it's, as you can see, like on the scale of things, it's a relatively simple Game Boy, nothing special at this point other than the sort of clear. But when you put this on, I don't know if you can see there, you've got your little indigo light going on, which makes things just a little bit easier. And it's, again, even with the backlight on, it's still a lovely little screen. Obviously it pales in comparison to the modern mods you can get for these systems now. I've got a few modded Game Boys here at home, which, you know, I'm keeping hold of for the moment because I do love playing on the original systems every now and then. But let's just put the blinds down and see if we can get a better look at this system. So welcome back. We're going to take a little look at what this looks like when you're playing under slightly poorer light. So my blinds are shut. I've got the light behind me because I have lizards in this room, so I have to have that light on, so I can't turn that off. But it's dark enough that you should get a rough idea of what this looks like in the in sort of darker situation. So I'm just going to turn this on here. And we'll load probably one of my favourite Game Boy games, that is Wario Land 3. Sorry, not Wario Land 3, Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land. It's a really good looking game. It's the sprites are nice and sort of chunky, and it's sort of ugly but good looking at the same time. It's very good. It's like one of the best looking games on the system in my opinion. So as you can see, this is it without the light on. So you can just about see it only because I've got the light on here, but if I turn this on, you should get a much better look here. So hopefully you can see that quite well. And it's definitely a lovely backlight on it. It's not too harsh. The problem with some backlights is, it's hard to get that balance between bright and too bright with some of these things. But I find that this isn't too harsh in the eyes. It's actually quite pleasant to play. I kind of wish that some of these newer backlights gave you the option of doing a similar backlight to this, because it's just so subtle. I've got a full-size Game Boy with a mod in, and it looks great. And it's probably a little too bright. There's probably something you can do to make it a little bit less bright. And there are probably other mods you can do to make them less bright as well. But this is a lovely little system, and already as I'm playing this, I'm slightly regretting the decision to get rid of this. But ultimately, I know that unfortunately I don't have time to play something as good looking as this, and it's not essential for me to have. I still have other Game Boys to play, and especially more modern mods on them as well. And things that aren't quite so precious, so I don't worry too much if they get a few dings here and there on them. But I'm just sort of gabbing at the moment because I just want you guys to see how good looking this is. I'm just going to sort of look at this screen and say, look at that. I mean, that's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? It's got such a nice resolution. The thing I love about this era of Game Boys is I like the dottiness you get from them. That screen where it's not fully filled in. You can just see the individual sort of dots. See if I can get an idea of that. If I can zoom in a little bit, let's see if I can. Oh, look at that! See, you got those little dots right there, and you can really see it. With these screens as well, it's not quite as blurry as the original Game Boy. There's a little bit of blur to it, and obviously with the newer screens you can buy now, there's not so much of a blur at all. But having that little blur is sort of essential for the Game Boy. And it feels normal, feels natural. Not having that, you're playing on an emulator and not having this dottiness, this slight motion blur. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel authentic to me. It's fun, but it's just not the same as having this gorgeous little sort of small resolution thing. It makes it look like a high resolution system than it really is. But I guess there's not really too much more I can say about this. As I say, I love this system. I kind of wish I could keep this forever, but I think this being in the loft for so long, I can't justify keeping it. I've got a baby on the way. My time to play will be limited at the best of times, and as I said, I'm worried about having a baby around something as delicate as this, to be honest with you. But I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to let you get on and get on with your day. And I'll be back with some more videos at some point, I promise. I'm sort of working on bits in the background, like projects that I've been sitting on for a while. I'm trying to finish at the moment. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around, and take care, and please do watch the other videos on my channel and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care. Bye.